installment of The Opinionated Educator. Well, actually, this is more a first installment. I've decided that one of the things I should be doing is keeping a digital diary of my learning experience. So this is what this is. Welcome to the first installment of my experiential learning in trying that digital channel thing. Okay, so as briefly as possible, I'm going to try explain experiential learning. Obviously, as the name suggests, it means learning through experience. The theory was first proposed by psychologist David Kolb, and basically he said that experiential learning is the learning that happens through the transformation of experience. So it's created through transforming what you experience, reflecting on what you've done, learning from what you've done. So in reflective learning, there are four basic components. The first is the things you experience. Secondly, there's the cognition, thinking and reflecting through it. There are environmental factors which influence your learning, and obviously your emotions play an important part. Now, this has been proposed as a cycle that talks about concrete experience, your reflective observation, your abstract conceptualization, and your active experimentation. So actually quite a lot of my learning has been through experiential learning. If you think about becoming a teacher, your first year of teaching is just overwhelming, and you learn by experience how to deal with difficult students. You learn by experience how schools run and how they function, and a teacher becomes better as a teacher through experiential learning. My stint in adult education was also through experiential learning. Yes, I was a teacher. I knew how to present content, but training adults is very different to working with teenagers. And through that work at Sacred Trust, I learned how to develop materials. I learned how to facilitate training sessions. I learned how to manage programs. I learned how to lay out material so that it's effective for distance learners. So that was also an experiential learning situation. When I first tried blended learning, when I was teaching the physics component of the NS course at WITS, that learning was also experiential. I set up tasks for the students to do beforehand, discovered that they weren't doing them. I found ways to try and get them to engage more with the materials, and putting up the materials on WITS' system then was experiential learning, and eventually I was putting up tests and quizzes and learning from the mistakes that I made. And of course the postdoc that I did at the University of Virginia was an experiential learning experience. I went there obviously with basic research skills. I'd completed my PhD, so I had some level of competence in quantitative data management, and I went there to learn more about working with large sets of data to develop my quantitative research skills. Of course, that did not go as planned, but I did learn a lot through experiences, making a few mistakes, then also identifying other people's mistakes and trying to get us to work towards correcting those mistakes. So in terms of experience, I gained a lot at the University of Virginia with that experiential learning scenario. It was a year, it was intense, it was emotional, but through that I learned a lot. And one of the main reasons is because I reflect on the things that I've done or things I could have done better, and reflection is an important part of experiential learning. And then of course there was my stint at event management and project management as a volunteer with the 10th Pride Parade in Johannesburg. That was a huge experiential learning experience. And I remember the morning before the actual parade, sitting in the Parktonian Hotel and just bawling my eyes out because of the immense pressure and stress. So yes, there's a lot of emotion in experiential learning too. So of course, my delving into this video channel thing is going to be an experiential learning experience. So yes, I will make mistakes. The beginning, I'm sure the videos are not, well, I know that they're not good quality, but through experience I hope that I can improve them. And that's what experiential learning is all about. Learning from experiences, jumping into those experiences, doing things, reflecting on the learning, reflecting on what has happened, finding ways to improve it. So, yes, I hope that in the future I will be producing good quality videos that are much better than the two I've done so far. So last night I was fortunate enough to have one of my previous students, although I don't remember if I actually taught him or physical science, but he has experience in this kind of field, and he gave some valuable feedback, things for me to think about, and some practical advice, which hopefully by the time you see the next video I would have been able to solve. So it's a problem I'm going to have to solve in terms of the sound, especially coming from Blackboard Learning, because it seems that it only comes across as mono stereo instead of a stereo. So yeah, that's a problem I will be working on to solve. And the feedback was extremely useful, and I'm very grateful that one of my previous students felt comfortable enough to actually give me feedback. Okay, so I'm going to just pass on what I've learned in the past few days, and it was from a past student named Earl. It was his birthday, so I sent him a birthday wishes, and when he replied, he said he had seen my YouTube video and he thought maybe he could pass on some tips. So he approached it extremely well, and because I've got absolutely no experience at this, I was quite eager and said I'm open for suggestions and improvements. And he said that the content and background stuff he thinks I will figure out, so that in itself showed that there are some things that I need to consider in terms of the background and the stuff that I do. And here he's showing that he has faith in me as a previous teacher that I can figure these things out. But he noticed two things from a technical perspective, and that was the audio and the video quality. So I told him, yes, I'm using Blackboard Learning at the moment to record the sessions. I'm currently limited by the tools, but I was really open for any suggestions that he might have. And he said in terms of the audio, when he was listening to it, it seemed fine in the beginning. It was working in stereo, but the presentation itself went to mono. So he wasn't sure if it was just him. He listened through his different earphones, but the presentation only came out from the one side. And by him saying that, there was something that I'd noticed in Lightworks that was really bugging me, but I wasn't quite sure what it was. And then in terms of the video, he gave me some suggestions on how to improve the quality of the video, and I was really thankful that he took the time to actually give me these suggestions. So, telling him what I'd used, he said, no, he thinks it's just software. I need software to encode the video, and that would fix both the audio and set up good video quality. I told him that I was using Lightworks, and one of our PhD students in our research program is looking at digital lessons, and she's using Lightworks. So Faith is definitely one of the people that I will be knocking on her door to say, Faith, please, I need some help here. And Earl said he's not an expert, but he's tried his own YouTube channel, and so these are things that he's had to go through, and from his experience he's passing that on, which I'm extremely grateful for, because firstly I feel the younger generation are far more technically savvy than us older generations. So I was really appreciative of his feedback, and also his encouragement, saying that he thinks the Science Channel is a very good idea and I should carry on, and more importantly, I should enjoy it. So yeah, this is the problem I was talking about. The one band is from Blackboard Collaborate, and you can see there's only one band there, but from my video on the cell phone there were two bands, and that had been bugging me, but because I'm not technically inclined, I wasn't aware that it was a problem. It just didn't look right. So Earl, I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you very much for your help, and I hope that I will be able to sort these out. So there are two things that I will need to learn. Number one, how can I fix that sound problem? Number two, I need to play around with Lightworks more and become better acquainted with the software. So I'd just like to thank you for your time and watching this video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel. Good night.